I'll tell you what. As a voter, I want to know this. Has Mr. Sunak, the Prime Minister, had a parent die in an A&E because there was no quiet room for him to die in because there were no bed spaces? Has the Prime Minister had a parent complain over and over again for 2 months or more about pain in her chest, only to be ignored in an NHS hospital, then to come out and discover that she had stage 4 cancer, and then see that parent die? Has Mr. Sunak tried to find a care home for said parents, one of whom had Parkinson's, and go and visit care homes that CQC, the watchdog, said were good, only to discover that you wouldn't house a cat in them? Because I tell you what, I have. All of those things happened to me and my family. So when you pick up the phone and you ring me and you talk to me about your experiences of health and social care, I absolutely know what you are talking about. Because we were not able to buy ourselves out of that situation. Do you think it is important that the Prime Minister of this country is honest enough just to tell us one way or another, do you use the NHS? Or do you think it's an entirely private matter? My God, this has made me angry. Hassan in Slough, hello, what's your take?
Hi, Sangeeta. Well, my take is I'm not going to say you're wrong and
you can if you like.
Rishi is right, and vice versa.
I don't
think
mind.
I'm somewhere in the middle. Yes, no, I think I'm somewhere in the middle, actually.
Go on.
You talked about integrity and accountability, and I think the Prime Minister did invite the country to hold him accountable when he made his fourth promise about reducing waiting lists. And if he had made a personal decision not to disclose the source of his health or his family's healthcare, that I think
it's not his family.
That.
Let me be very clear. I don't think this is a matter to do with his family. I don't care what his family do. I do care about what the Prime Minister of the country, whether or not he is going to be honest and open and transparent, as the Nolan Principles dictate, about where he receives his care in terms of a GP in this case, right? Because you can infer from the fact that if he is refusing to answer, the likelihood is that he is using private healthcare, which means referral through the private health system. I don't mind that he has made that choice, but for God's sake, be honest about it when you are talking about pay negotiations and reform of the NHS. And that is why it's important, Hassan. Transparency.
No, I completely understand what you say.
It's
but
a
even
public interest argument.
Well, even if he said that, yes, I have used the NHS, he'll still going to be criticised for it. Boris Johnson used the NHS. So. Well, Boris Johnson used the NHS. David Cameron said he used the NHS for his disabled son, but they were still criticised in the way they handled the NHS. So it's a no-win situation for the Prime Minister.
No, but I'll tell you what. The interesting thing about David Cameron, I remember this at the time, a man who is incredibly wealthy, is that when he talked about a paediatric care on the NHS, people believed that he genuinely understood what that entailed. When Margaret Thatcher, who Rishi Sunak constantly refers to and referred to this morning in that interview, Margaret Thatcher was very clear, honest and open. She said, I can afford private healthcare. That's what I'm using. It's my choice. That shows a level of honesty that this Prime Minister this morning has failed to do. But Hassan, thank you very much indeed for your call. Hassan in